could your focus on training strength and technique actually be preventing you from getting climbing gains? That's the question we're answering today. And if the answer is yes, then what should we be training to progress faster and prevent those plateaus? And there's a really cool giveaway in this one that can actually help you improve your climbing, so stick around for that. Hi, I'm Sarah, climbing coach from Ascend Edition, where we help you build confidence and climb better. Technique is what helps you climb smarter, so you can make more moves with less effort using body position and leveraging your momentum for your benefit. You know those climbs where it just flows and it feels flawless and good? That's what technique does. But technique can only take you so far when you need additional tension or strength to make the next move. Which is why a lot of climbers train strength, so that they can feel more in control while they're on the wall, making those more difficult moves. But if you rely on strength alone, you're gonna burn out fast, and climbing is going to feel harder than it needs to, which is why we often pair technique and strength together, and many climbers think it's the perfect pairing for climbing your best. Most climbers can get pretty good at climbing by focusing on those two elements, but if you don't start training this third element, you're gonna start noticing a bit of a regression in your training. You're gonna start seeing inconsistencies with what you could do yesterday to what you can do today. In other words, you'll see an overall decline in your climbing performance. But what should we be training to get better, to prevent these flaws? Thanks to pro climbers and professional athletes in almost every sport, we know the answer. Training your mental performance can unlock advanced climbing performance. No matter how long you've been climbing, how strong or perfect your technique is, training your mental performance can significantly affect your climbing performance. Plus, it can accelerate all the training you've been doing with your strength and technique training. It's like putting fuel on the fire that is your training. And once you feel it, it's addictive. You'll start showing up to every session a little bit sharper, calmer, and in more control. But many climbers overlook this, thinking mental performance is just something you're born with. Luckily for us, millions of dollars and thousands of research projects have focused on developing exactly how to train your mental performance. Thanks to professional athletes who rely on optimized performance to make money, win over brands and fans. And here's the exciting part. You don't need some complicated training plan to get started. We just need to focus on very specific parts of your mental performance to see huge gains and fast. Potentially in the same session, you start applying it. But first we have to understand what mental performance is and how do we know what aspects we need to start training. It isn't about trying harder, it's about 5 key areas that directly impact how you climb. Anxiety management, so we're staying calm when the pressure's on. One of my climbers used to absolutely crush training sessions, but the second they got in front of their friends and they started projecting, they'd freeze by the second or third move. Motivation, keeping your drive to improve the push through challenges. There was a couple of weeks where I couldn't land a single move on my project, and every time I went climbing, it felt like a failure. I even started skipping sessions because of it. Concentration, staying focused on the right things at the right time. One of my favorite climbing partners noticed that his foot wasn't in the optimal position. Instead of moving it to a different hold, he started spiraling. He told me he started thinking about falling, who was watching him, how many times he's already attempted the climb. It was a total brain overload. Belief, trusting in your ability to succeed on the wall. A client of mine looked at this V6 and said, I will never be able to do that. So I told her she should at least try the first move. She stuck the first move. Not only that, but by the end of the session, she had finished almost the entire route, just a couple of moves from the top. And decision making, choosing the best moves and committing with confidence. There was this tricky climb with a heel hook that I was pretty stuck on, and I kept on trying to force this move until I saw a buddy of mine do a toe hook instead and sent it. After watching them, I decided to try the toe hook myself, and it worked. These are super common scenarios in climbing, so if you felt any of these or recognize any of these, good news is you can actually train your way through it. Let me show you how. Think back to your last climbing session and consider each of these. Which one resonated with you the most? Whichever one stood out the most, that's your starting point for your mental training performance. But before we jump into the short 1-minute exercises, there's one simple performance booster I've used myself. One of the easiest ways to start improving your mental state while you're climbing is music. The right music can trigger the exact emotions you need to feel energy, focus, confidence when you need it most. That's why I recommend using music intentionally before and during your sessions, especially on days when things feel off, motivation is low, that kind of thing. And to help with that, I've been testing out these Open Rock S2 headphones. They've honestly surprised me. The sound quality is fantastic, rich bass, like it's really good bass, it's crisp details. I've worn these comfortably for 4+ hours straight without really any fatigue from the pressure that some headphones give you, you know? Comfort matters, especially when you're at the gym doing long sessions or working hard routes outdoors. And honestly, I kind of forget that I'm wearing them. I know a lot of climbers avoid using headphones because they're worried they'll miss hearing their belayer or not being aware of their surroundings, and that is totally valid. And actually part of the reason why I like these, because I can hear everything I need to. What makes these especially great is they're open ear, so they don't actually go into my ear, they just rest on the outside, so you can stay aware of your surroundings and enjoy the music while you're training. Meg tested these out too, and one thing that surprised us was how different our music selection was. What motivates me is so different than what motivates her. But here's the thing, if you tend to listen to music that's frustrating and gets you angry to keep you motivated, try testing other kind of music that gives you that vigor but maintains a more positive mindset while you're climbing. It can make a big difference with how you perform on the wall. They're ultra lightweight, 7 grams, and it's pretty clever hook design, keeps them super stable while you're climbing or moving around. I've been in the cave, I've been climbing just normally without any problems. Sometimes when I'm being really dynamic, I'll kind of notice this piece isn't as connected to my ear because my ears are a little small, but I just touch it and it's back to good. The battery life is solid. We got 32 hours. I've done tons of sessions on one charge, and because I like them so much, Open Rock gave me a set to give away. So yes, you can find the giveaway details in the description below. If you don't want to wait, they also gave me a discount code. You get Send Edition 15 at checkout for 15% off. Good luck. I hope that you win a pair and get to experience the difference yourself. One quick tip if you're trying to shift your mental state, go with music, not podcasts. From experience, but also a ton of other climbers have suggested that podcast is great for background listening, but if you want to trigger emotions, targeted emotions, and you want to stay focused, it's going to help you fuel your climbing. Music primes your body and mind for the session. Huge thanks to Open Rock for sponsoring this video. Remember that climber I told you about that did really good in their training sessions, but in front of their friends couldn't climb very well? This exercise can help with that anxiety that a lot of climbers have when they're around friends or maybe in competitions. So anytime you start feeling that creep up, take 1 minute to do this exercise. This exercise is called anchor breathing, and essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna put one hand on our chest, one hand on our stomach. We're gonna inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, and exhale for 6 counts. Focus on the feeling of the air coming in through your chest, entering your stomach during that position, and then exhale. We're gonna do this repeating for 1 minute. This is a simplified diaphragmatic breathing exercise. Focusing on your breath and the physical sensation helps interrupt the anxiety response. It activates this parasympathetic nervous system and brings immediate awareness to your present moment, reducing the mental spiraling associated with anxiety. Remember the story I told about me missing sessions because my motivation was just not there due to failure after failure after failure? When you lack drive, or maybe you're feeling lethargic or generally disinterested in continuing your project or climbing, try leveraging this one move, one goal exercise. We're going to mentally commit to just that move, focusing exactly on the movement and the position that we need to be on and to make it. Visualize yourself executing that movement perfectly. over and over again and tell yourself, my goal right now is to execute this specific move with precision and commitment. Take a deep breath and then execute that move. This technique breaks down overwhelming tasks into micro manageable goals. By focusing on just one position, one immediate and achievable action, it reduces the perceived effort and reactivates that intrinsic motivation, making it easier to start and continue when motivation is feeling low. Remember my climbing partner who lost focus and started spiraling? When your mind is wandering, you're easily distracted, or you're struggling to stay focused, try Spotlight Focus exercise. It's about 1 minute and can help you with concentration. We're going to choose a very small, specific point on the rock or hold in front of you. So this is while you're actually on the wall. This could be maybe a piece of chalk mark on it, hopefully not blood, something, a feature of sort. Imagine a mental spotlight, fully focusing only on that point. All visual information fades from the background. So we're going to try and really hone in here. Focus your attention on that single point for 30 seconds, noticing the texture, the color, the shape. Then shift your spotlight to another small specific point and hold that for 30 seconds. This is based on the direct application of attention training. By forcing intense and narrow focus on a single non-distracting object, it helps recalibrate and strengthen that ability to concentrate, filling out internal and external distractions. Remember that climb that I mentioned where I was forcing that heel hook and then a buddy showed me that a toe hook actually is the better way? When our decisions seem to be what's holding us back and our climbing, then we can focus on this exercise to help with it. This is called the 2-option pause. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a deep breath first, and we're gonna review all the plausible ways to get up this route. All the footholds, all the handholds, and this should sound kind of familiar because it's very similar to sequencing. But here's the difference. Instead of finding one specific way to go up the route, we're going to identify 2 different ways to do it. And then when we're on the wall, we have 2 different options. So if option 1 doesn't feel right, or maybe the overhang is steeper than we anticipated, then we have a second option to move forward with. This can significantly improve your decision making, and with practice, it becomes better and better, and your decisions become better and better as well. The reason this works is it simplifies complex decision making. Where we have all these different options, we are honing in on 2, giving us a backup plan just in case the first one doesn't work. This helps us also feel confident while we're climbing that we've already made these decisions, so we're ready to move to the next level. If you try even one of these drills in your next climbing session, comment below how it goes, and don't forget about that giveaway. Details in the description.